Hello and welcome to Paper Daisy Journals. It's Kylie. This video is a flip through of a junk journal and I have called her Pollyanna. So Pollyanna is A5 sized, so a large journal with a sort of soft but structured cover. On the front here, I have a slow stitched protea or protea, which is a native plant to Australia. And I purchased this as a kit from Wattle and Loop. I will link the shop in the description below. And I decided to cut it out after I completed it and stitch it to the cover of this journal. And I then chose a few other bits of fabric to sort of tie in with the colours, but it's a beautiful pink and sort of teal and mint. On the spine I have a beaded feature. And the closure is this really pretty pink sari silk ribbon. And I've threaded that through the holes in this lace. So that does actually, it is stitched on, but it does, it's not completely stitched on. And it is a fabric cover. So there's a tilde fabric all the way through. And then from halfway down, there's this sort of little dotty fabric with the like a little cotton lace at the bottom. Forgotten how many pages Pollyanna has, but usually it's at least 60 pages to write on, so pages that don't have any that aren't overly decorated. And inside I have, you can see Pollyanna peeking out there. I do like to include handmade ephemera and also one of these style of postcards where the colour is actually added to the black and white or sepia postcard after the postcard's been printed. I just love them actually. They're sort of that style. So I chose this postcard because I felt that young lady looked like a Pollyanna. This beautiful fabric on the inside cover is from Blue Linen Cottage, and I've got a really pretty pink lace pocket there. On my tags I have some gorgeous peonies painted by Halle Perry Designs, and I will link her shop in the description. And I've also used some really beautiful handmade paper from Rose Hill Paper Cottage, and I'll also link that in the description. Beautiful piece of ribbon work on a velvet ribbon, and just something a bit different at the top of the tag there. A book page with a wax seal with a rose print stamp on it. Some of Patricia's beautiful eco print tissue paper, and her shop will be in the description as well. And the other shop that I'm sort of featuring is Marimbla Marbling. I will link Louise's shop in the description as well. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. And Louise does the most amazing marbled paper. So that's just a journaling card that I've made in a lace pocket. I actually had a go at avocado dyeing paper, and it's quite a dark batch, this batch, but I felt that it sort of went well with the colours in the journal. So a little bit grungy, but avocado dyed papers, and embossed glassine bag with a fussy cut flower, a beautiful folded envelope from France. I think this one was 1869, possibly 1969, but I think it would have been 1869. But I just love the handwriting and the fact that they used fountain pen. It's 1869 actually, it's there. Some vintage book page. This is a printable of my rose clusters in my Etsy shop, and I've just stuck that on as a little pocket. And this is also a handmade tag with some of that fabric from the cover, some vintage wallpaper. That's a real pressed flower. A couple of people have asked me how I glue the flowers on. I use art glitter glue. It's a permanent glue, and I apply glue to the back, and then I sort of paint each petal with my finger and just gently press it on so that there's not sort of glue oozing out. And I guess I'm not sure how long it will stay stuck to the paper, but I prefer this look than going over the top and sealing it with Mod Podge, because it sort of adds a shine. So that's, and it feels quite firm. I don't feel that any of the petals are going to come off anytime soon, but that's just what I've been doing. Some more of that beautiful painted vintage book page and handmade paper, and that's some original French ledger underneath. Some more avocado dyed paper, a beaded charm, and a little flower motif. Pollyanna's right in to the blossoms. She's a blossom girl. As you can see from the photo, she loves her flowers. So there's lots of flowers in this journal. This is a book page plate, and I've just sort of hand torn it. I've hand sewn all of the pockets and tuck spots. There's a little flower feature there, and a journaling card with some lace and a button just slipped in there. And I just liked the way that that sort of hung over the corner there, and there's some layering. I really did, I did enjoy sort of doing the layers in this journal. So all of that sort of set up so that you can see each layer. This is a tag from one of my printables in my Etsy shop by Linen Printable, the pink one. And that's the tag there. A piece of beautiful fabric with a little bow there, and I've just wrapped it around at the back and stuck it on as a bit of a feature. And on this side of the glassine bag, I've just sort of fussy cut a piece of embroidery from a doily and stuck that on. And there's certain aspects in a journal, I won't ever sell anything that I don't absolutely love myself, but there's certain aspects that you really admire how they've come together. You have an image in your mind, and then when you sort of see it together, you think, oh yes, that works. And I just really like how that all fits together. This is a wine label here with a little Suffolk puff hand stitched on. And this tag was fun to make. Often in flower books or books on flowers, there's often pages that are a little bit boring or kind of get left over or overlooked. So I decided to actually start using them as tags and punching out the circle, sticking it at the back, and then stitching in a laminated pressed flower. So it looks like the flower is actually floating in the image. And I just stuck a fussy cut butterfly on there as well for a bit of extra dimension. But journaling space on the back. So they were fun to make, those tags. And some more of that beautiful eco print. It's so clear. I'm not sure what Patricia does. She has a secret to doing her eco prints because they're absolutely beautiful. Another book page. I'm going to pause and take a sip because I'm just getting over sinus. So hopefully I can get through this without coughing. Another book page. And I have stuck a little vintage flower on the side of the book, just put 2 holes in and threaded it through and just sort of secured it with a little bit of washi tape for an added feature. And this is sort of, I guess, a little part that I kind of like. This is a pocket with some Stemperia rice paper stuck on it, and it's a double pocket, so you can stick something behind and something in front. And I think, as I've said in a previous video, if I take away some writing space with a pocket, I always like to add the equivalent amount of space on a tag, so you're not really losing any writing space, it's just in a different setting. This is also a journaling card from my pink linen printable with a butterfly on it. It's really pretty. And I thought it just looked really nice with that pink flower poking above the pocket. This is one of my current obsessions, and they are Belgian telegrams. I think this one came from Belgium. Anyway, European telegram. It is the original one. There's journaling space on that side. This is another scenario that I'm really loving. Just the stitched on lace pocket, just in three spots, with a really pretty tag. That's a rose print on canvas, handmade paper, and a silk ribbon ruffle at the bottom. And I just love how that tucks in and peeks out through the bottom. I'll just make sure that sits nicely. And I do love this ledger at the back here. That is a little tuck spot there. I think that I got that from Blue Linen Cottage as well. Some beautiful handmade paper with little pink leaves and other little leaves through it, and it's quite transparent, so that's quite pretty to see the doily and the flower through that. This is a doily with a little fussy cut flower on it, a wax seal button, and I've just got a little peekaboo of lace over a snippet from a doily. I thought that was really pretty as well. Some ledger page here in the middle, and for the beaded signature, I realized that I have a lot of vintage glass buttons that I absolutely love, but they're quite raised, and I find you can get away with a flat button in a journal because it might create just a little bit of bubble, but these raised buttons I feel would make it difficult to journal on. So I have avoided using them in my journals, but they are quite beautiful. So I've decided to start putting them in on my signature strings, just hanging down the bottom, and I think they look really pretty and they make a lovely sound. Here is another beaded dangle or beaded charm, and a little blossom hanging off the lace ruffle, and some more fussy cuts on doily. And that ledger, I have turned that into a pocket. This is a beautiful vintage hanky that I've turned into a double pocket, so it's a pocket behind the hanky, and it's also a big pocket in the hanky. And I love how this one had a feature on the edge, so you can sort of see all the delicate little layers. It's sort of like almost like a folded pastry with a pretty flower on the front. I think that would be a rose. That's the other side of the telegram. It is from Belgium. And I love this ticket tape that they used. A vellum pocket with some more of that beautiful ribbon work on a velvet ribbon, and it's got beads and sequins. It's just adorable. I'll try and bring that up so you can see some of the detail. And I haven't actually stuck that down, so you could use that as a little tuck spot. And this is a postage stamp tag, and they're original postage stamps with birds, and those colours I felt just went really beautifully in this journal. And I like that you can see the bottom of the tag in the vellum pocket, because a lot of the time tags are sort of decorated in the bottom half. I tend to be drawn to decorating the bottom rather than the top, because decorating the top makes it seem top heavy, so you naturally want to decorate the bottom. So having vellum pockets means you can see the pretty parts. Book page there, a really beautiful big fussy cut rose on a vintage ledger, and I just like that. I really love that look, how it's sort of incorporated, I guess, into that beautiful document from 1849. This is another thing I'm experimenting with. I do love, I love printed vellum, but my printer just won't deal with it, which is really disappointing. So I decided to have a go at stamping. So I've used Tim Holtz butterfly stamps and his ledger stamp, and just done some layers, and I really like how that's turned out, and you can see the flower underneath. This is on some waxed oven paper and a little cluster here at the top, and that's an doily snippet. Some more ledger. This is an original document, I think from Paris, and it had holes in it, so I decided to reinforce them and put a little bit of ribbon at the top. And I have seen Jackie Chimes do this in her journals as well. I love her journals. They're one of my favorites, actually. And another little cluster, this cluster, beaded tangle. This one has one of those beautiful vintage glass hearts, and you can see where they've fused the two sides of the glass together from the mold, and I just think that's really pretty there with a little flower. A flower fairy page. I've just sort of torn around the edge and stuck a ribbon, and this is a journaling card with some slow stitching and some sort of floral tulle, I guess. It's sort of like a ribbon. I'm not sure what the official term for it is. But it's very shabby chic, and that's the other hole on the other side. This is another cute little spot here. So that's a my rose cluster in my Etsy shop, and another handmade tag. It's a little bit of bingo, vintage bingo playing card. And I really like how this one sort of turned out with the vintage wallpaper at the top. And I have backed the tags with some of the pink avocado dyed paper. I do love this pocket. I tried quite a few different tags in this pocket because I have stamped and embossed this library card holder, but I also have embossed handmade paper in it, and I thought that there might be too much embossing, but after swapping and changing, I just really feel that this tag works well in this pocket. That's an original French stamp off a antique rental receipt, and there's space on the back to journal. And I just stuck on a little blossom as well because that is the running theme of Pollyanna's journal. The other side of that vellum, a little tear there, but I think it kind of adds character. And I like the gold stamp, the gold ink. A library card with a butterfly, and I will actually draw its antennae back in, and that's in a lace pocket. Another book page. Oh, that's the other side of that beautiful ledger. I love it. A lightly tea-stained doily with a fussy cut flower, and some more of Patricia's beautiful eco prints. I do like this sort of page as well, with the fabric from the cover, and this tag has a little butterfly, handmade paper butterfly die cut underneath, and some lace on the top. And I just really like how that's tucks in there, and the lace sort of hangs over the top of the pocket. And I've also got a vintage flower that I have stuck onto the page there, and I think that's really cute. I actually have forgotten who gave me that flower. Some of that beautiful onion skin paper, duplicate paper. Music page with a lace ruffle, and there's another beaded dangle with a rose ribbon bow, I should say, ribbon bow. Piece of vintage book, exercise book page, and that's a little tuck spot there. And I just tore off the edge because I liked the look of the hand stitching and the lace and the layers. So yes, there's lots of layers in this book, just sort of peeking through. This is a really cool vintage wallpaper pocket from my friend Jude at Studio Marlowe, and I will link her shop in the description. There's actually sequins on there, and one of the sequins is a little flower. So I thought that was quite fun to tuck in there. And this is a floral applique that I've just tacked on in 3 spots. Some more signature beads and a really sweet vintage glass button there, pink one with some gold. Makes a lovely sound. That's also an antique button. I just love that green colour. A heart that I've cut out from cotton paper, and this is a die cut, and an original French luggage tag with a German floral die cut stuck on. I've taken the corner off so you can see the little butterfly. It's handmade paper butterfly there from Rose Hill Cottage. Really beautiful fabric from Blue Linen Cottage, and this is one of my original pressed flower tags, my boho pressed flower tags with some gold, beautiful antique French gold trim, and it's actually metallic, and a little bit of gold doily and some sari collaged on there. So I've just stuck that in that pocket. And I love the onion skin and how transparent it is. a little tag with a flower and a Tim Holtz paper clip, so cute and tiny. And on the back here I have some pressed flowers that I've just stuck on, and I loved how the colours sort of blended in with the avocado dyed paper. And at the back here, that's actually fussy cut from a doily and embroidery from a doily book page. And in the lace pocket at the back is another handmade tag, and that's got the bingo card at the top, a pressed flower and a bit of lace with the marbled paper, wallpaper, and that just pops in there. And that is Pollyanna and her back cover there. So you can see beautiful beads dangling down there. It's full of blossoms, especially that beautiful protea on the cover there. And yes, so full to the hilt, but with room to grow, as you can see, and that flexible cover makes it, it wraps around the signatures really beautifully. So 4 signatures, and I've used a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. This is a 5 centimeter or 2 inch spine. So yes, plenty of room, and A5 size, so quite big. I have quite long fingers, so I forgot my ruler, but I feel like that's sort of a bit repetitive, having to measure it every time. It sort of takes away from focusing on the cover, which I think is one of the most important parts. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I've made it through to the end without coughing, yay! And hopefully in my next video my sinus will be gone. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!